You went to bed around 11. Your alarm went off at 7. On paper, that's 8 hours. The number every sleep app, every doctor, every wellness article treats as the finish line. And yet, you're sitting there wondering why you feel like you got hit by a truck. Here's the uncomfortable part. Your clock only measures how long the night lasted. It has no idea what actually happened to you during it. And for a lot of people, something is happening. Something that can pull the brain out of deep, stable sleep over and over without ever fully waking them up. They just don't remember it. Let's start with the number itself. 8 hours in bed is not the same as 8 hours of sleep. And 8 hours of sleep is not automatically restorative sleep. There's time in bed, there's actual sleep duration, there's how continuous that sleep is, and there's whether it does its job. The Sleep Research Society and the American Academy of Sleep Medicine recommend 7 or more hours for most adults. That's a population guideline, not a guarantee that hitting the number means you'll feel rested. So, what if you slept for hours, but your brain kept getting yanked out of stable sleep without you ever realizing it? To understand that, you need to know sleep isn't one flat state. You cycle through lighter stages, deeper stages, and REM sleep repeatedly through the night. When that cycling gets interrupted by brief arousals that spike your brain activity for just a few seconds, sleep becomes fragmented. And here's the unsettling detail. Many of these arousals are so short, you won't recall a single one in the morning. You'll swear you slept through the night. Your brain knows otherwise. Researchers call the result non-restorative sleep. Technically enough hours, but the architecture underneath was in pieces. So what could be quietly breaking up your sleep like that? One major cause is obstructive sleep apnea. Here's the mechanism. The muscles in your throat relax, the upper airway narrows or partially collapses, airflow drops, oxygen dips, and your brain briefly arouses just enough to reopen the airway and restart normal breathing. Then you drift back down, and the cycle can repeat dozens of times a night. Most people never wake up enough to notice. The clues usually come from someone else in the room. Loud, habitual snoring, witness pauses in breathing, gasping or choking sounds. On your own end, you might notice morning headaches or waking up with a dry mouth. To be clear, not everyone who's tired has sleep apnea, but it's a real, common, and treatable cause worth knowing about. Now, even without fragmentation, 8 hours might simply not be your number. Sleep need genuinely varies between individuals and shifts with age and circumstance. 8 hours is a population average, not a biological law carved in stone for every person reading this. And timing matters as much as duration. Your brain runs an internal clock, your circadian rhythm, that coordinates when you're primed for sleep and when you're primed for alertness. Irregular schedules, shift work, or social jet lag, sleeping drastically different hours on weekends versus weekdays, can misalign that clock. You can get a full 8 hours and still feel off because your body wasn't biologically ready to be asleep or awake at those particular times. There's also sleep inertia, that heavy, foggy grogginess right after waking. This is normal and temporary. The real question is, are you groggy for the first 20 or 30 minutes, or are you struggling to stay awake hours later? Those are two very different problems. And sometimes, the answer isn't sleep at all. Persistent fatigue, despite what looks like adequate sleep, can be tied to things like iron deficiency anemia, thyroid dysfunction, certain medications, or depression. This isn't a diagnosis. It's a reminder that sleep more isn't a universal fix. So, back to the original question. 8 hours tells you how long you were asleep, or how long you were in bed. It doesn't tell you whether that sleep actually restored you. Ask yourself, do you wake repeatedly? Do you snore, gasp, or has someone noticed pauses in your breathing? Is your schedule irregular? Are you foggy briefly or exhausted all day? Has this been going on for weeks, not just one bad night? If the pattern is persistent, it's worth bringing to a healthcare professional. 8 hours is a number. Feeling rested is a different question entirely.